Hey, what's up, guys? So, in this video, I want to talk to you guys about an incident that occurred in this country that I believe most people are completely unaware of. I know for a fact that it is not part of the traditional school curriculum. Myself, as a child, going through those earlier years of school, I never heard anything about this, and my children also have never been taught this, okay? So, this occurred in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Oklahoma specifically, and it happened in 1921. And what I'm referring to is what's called Black Wall Street. Okay? So in this particular area of Oklahoma, black people had congregated there and opened and developed many different types of businesses, schools, banks, law firms, libraries, etc. They were doing very, very well for themselves, and they were also funding themselves amongst their own people. So the community was thriving. Jealousy came into the picture. A lot of the neighboring white people did not like to see black people taking care of themselves and thriving as they were. They didn't want that. This country suffers from an underlying racist element that I don't believe will ever go away. But imagine how much more so its prevalence was back then to now. People were a lot more open about it, and things were still transitioning, not so much today as they were then. So basically what happened is that, because of this built-up frustration and hatred from a lot of the white people about the successes that the black people were able to do for themselves, they decided that they want to destroy everything that the black people had created there. And they began what a lot of people call and refer to as a riot. I don't use that word because it's not applicable as it's defined. All right. What actually happened was a massacre. By definition, this was a massacre, not a riot. Okay. But the way they portrayed it was that a young black guy raped a white woman. All right. This incident never occurred, never actually happened. But that was the catalyst that some of the Klans members, the KKK guys, needed. All right. And it was well known that there was a lot of hatred towards, this separate little community. All right. Because it was referred to not only as Black Wall Street, but they called it Little Africa and they called it Nigger Town. All right. So it was obvious that people hated this little area that was thriving there. So once they made this false allegation, they came in basically with guns and came in looking for heads. They demanded that the guy turn himself over and they were going to lynch him. They were going to hang him publicly and execute him. All right. The people of the community knew that this was a lie and that the incident never occurred and he had never raped anyone nor done anything else to that white lady. Basically, this was the thing that set the whole thing off. The attack began. They started massacring people on the streets. But the worst part about it is that the government allowed this. The government basically sanctioned mass murder of thousands of black people and didn't hold anyone accountable for it. Not only that, but there were reports of many people that there were bombs being dropped. All right, imagine this, bombs being fucking dropped from airplanes on this community to destroy everything. Okay, now it is debatable how many people actually died, but in my research, it was more than 3,000 people, very likely more than the total losses of life on 9/11 in those attacks there. So people refer to that as the worst terrorist attack on American soil. That can't be the case because Black Wall Street was worse. And Black Wall Street was done by Americans against Americans, black people specifically. This was a fucked up thing that happened. I can't imagine me being in that environment at that time, being a black person, how I would react to that. It's just unbelievable, unimaginable. How people could have so much fucking hate in them and want to destroy and kill and murder just because other people are doing well for themselves. You know, the white people have this thing that they're always saying that they want black people to do well for themselves, but in this case, they did, and they were. And what they get in return? Fucking massacred. Massacred. And when it was all said and done, thousands of black people were killed and left for dead. And the worst part about it was there were 0 insurance claims that were honored. The insurance companies denied every single claim. There were thousands of claims. They denied every single one and left these people with nothing. So just like that, Black Wall Street was wiped out, and it was never able to regain any kind of momentum anywhere near what it once was. So I thought I'd share this with you guys because, you know, American history is very curious in the sense that, you know, they're only telling the story as they want you to hear it. And they're only telling the story from one side's perspective. They never share the things that make themselves look bad, even if it means outright lying. Okay? So this is a perfect example of that. Very relatable and comparable to like the Thanksgiving thing. You know, the story they tell us about the Pilgrims and the Indians having a nice fucking Thanksgiving dinner together. That's fucking nonsense. That was another massacre that occurred. But I think this one may have been worse because it was American on American. So share your thoughts and comments, guys. Let me know if any of you have heard of this before. I'm sure some of you have. But for the most part, I think most are completely unaware. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.